campus of Haddonfield High School in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Comcast Sports presents Boys High School Basketball. Today, the Haddonfield Bulldogs host the Clearview Pioneers. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Shawn Leary, here in historic Haddonfield High School. A great gym, very similar to a gym where we were just last week over at Gloucester Catholic. Tight quarters, always a lot of enthusiasm. Today will be no different in a key inter-conference matchup as Haddonfield will take on Clearview. These are a pair of schools that have not met in some time, but don't take that away from the fact that both of these teams will be hyped up for today, particularly Clearview, who really needs to win this game to continue on for their playoff march.
Yeah, when you look at the Clearview record, it's 8-7. Plain and simple, they need to win one more game. They're going to face Haddonfield, then Williamstown, and then Cumberland. And you look at all three of the games, you look at Clearview's schedule, all three of these should be winnable games because Clearview's a type of team that even though they have had some major injuries, it impacted the starting lineup and a change up in this roster, they have stayed competitive in most all games. They played well against everyone but probably Salem and Mainland. So you take those two teams out of the equation, Clearview has done a terrific job all season long despite some big injuries.
Let's first talk about the Haddonfield Bulldogs. Will Knight is a transfer from Downingtown West, averaging 15.5 points per game. He really keys the offense.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that can do a lot of different things. He'll slash to the basket. He can shoot well. He can really fill it up, but he's one of the best defenders. Long-armed kid that does a lot of different things for this team and gets others involved. Really what you want a leader to do.
Clearview is a team that's banged up. They haven't had the same lineup since they started out the season 7-0. But Nevin Potts is back in the lineup. Still not 100%, but he really can get it going.
Well, he's probably at 80% right now, but he's a pest. This is a guy who had, I think, 130 steals or something like that. He is a guy that's really get in your face, one of the best defenders in the conference, but he's a spark plug on offense as well. He's going to dish, deliver, and open things up for his team, and he does an excellent job of getting others involved. A terrific part in the Tri-County Conference.
Should be a great matchup for both teams. Stick around. We'll have the tip for you in just a moment. Welcome back to Haddonfield High School, about to get underway. And we are underway. Haddonfield and Clearview taking on one another. Again, this game oh so important to this Clearview Pioneer team. A mark of 8-7. They started out 7-0. Have lost 7 of their last 8. A team that is really banged up. Three-point shot is good, and that's what they're going to need today. Adrian Branch starts things, and he's been red hot for this team, averaging over 17 points a game over the last 3 games.
Well, they're missing a lot of offense from the Pioneers' standpoint, but one thing that Branch does bring is a pure shooter. He does a lot of good things, but one thing he does extremely well is able to fire the ball from the outside. Good look.
Good look inside, laid up and in. Nice little underneath move by T.J. Zaleski. 3-2.
The senior will probably be a matchup problem for the Pioneers. He's 6'4", he handles the ball well, and he's a wide body. One of the Clearview football players, the converted basketball player, will have to defend him and do a pretty good job muscling up on the kid because he has wide shoulders.
Inside look, and that's going to be turned over. The pass to Betterson for naught. And the first turnover of the game. We're here early in the first quarter.
Hey, Gravenese is going to match up with Zaleski. Gravenese at 6'2", 180 pounds, pulls down about 7 boards a game. And he's a strong kid. And Zaleski, you can see with those wide shoulders, you know, he's able to go strong for rebounds, use his body effectively to box his opponent out. And I think Cleary's really going to have a good game from Gravenese.
Inside, knocked away, and Haddonfield's Consul. Solid defense results in the turn. Driving inside, off glass, and Consul goes end to end. Yeah, and puts Haddonfield on top for the first time.
Branch at 5'10" is not a good matchup with Consul. Consul just able to take him and drive to the basket and just use that extra muscle on the smaller Branch to get it up and down.
Some stifling defense from Mike McFeeters there. You see the starting lineups: Potts, Branch, Burke, Betterson, and Gravenese. Campbell, McFeeters, Knight, Consul, and Zaleski. Inside turnaround move, too hard off the glass, tipped up, and that tremendous size differential for Haddonfield continues to pay dividends. 6'3" Bulldog.
The Pioneers are not going to be able to rely on their arms. They're going to have to use the body to box out and to pull down rebounds. If they try to just go up and try to extend with their arms, they're not going to be able to pull it down. Zaleski and Consul are just too big.
Open three, hits Dave Campbell with the tray.
Good spot-up shooter. This is a Haddonfield team with 4 starting members over 6'3". And when you're a little banged up, you just don't have the athleticism that you'd like to have on the floor that Clearview has been able to put together in the beginning part of the season. You got to do the other things very well. And one of the things is using the body effectively.
Getting the shooter roll once again, Adrian Branch.
He averages 12.5 a game, Rob. And he's a guy that can fill up the bucket and get the points needed with Bowman and
nothing but glass. 9-5 Clearview with possession.
The Pioneers are missing Dylan Bowman, missing Marcus Coates. They were missing Evan Potts for a stretch, and that's, you look at how they started 7-0 in the first 4 games they had their lineup in, and they were looked at as one of the top teams in the conference. Then you have Bowman and Coates go out of the lineup, and then Potts out for a few games, and they've lost, I believe, 6 of 7.
7 of their last 8. Of course, the last win coming versus Gloucester, and that was just the other day. That was on Thursday. They have not played at home in quite some time, and most of that stretch has been on the road. Perhaps not coincidentally, given the fact that you have a road team and a banged-up team. This Clearview team not the same it was when they started the mark 7-0, started that season.
Yeah, just on top of the world, and then an injury to Coates, and Bowman goes out. Just things seem to just start unraveling for the Pioneers after an unbelievable start for this team.
Clearview continues to play stifling defense, keeping the ball on the perimeter. And despite the size differential, this is a Haddonfield team that really likes to shoot from the perimeter. Not a big post team. There's Consul driving inside, in and out, and followed up and fouled and good. TJ Zaleski with 6 points. He'll try to make it 7.
And no help down low. Inside rebound for Haddonfield. There's no one there for the Pioneers, forced to foul. Yeah, right, Rob. You look at this Haddonfield team, they are 6'3" and above, but besides Zaleski, they're not really wide. They're kids that are kind of lanky, long arms. They can shoot the ball well, but athleticism is not the main focus of this team. It's more of a shooter's mentality. They can push the break if need. They play good defense. And of course, you look at Haddonfield and the Paul Wiedemann team. They're going to play and do all the fundamentals extremely well.
Long 3-point shot, rims out. And here come the Bulldogs. Again, another long 3, rims out, rebound, and Zaleski. And they'll start it all over again. Again, working the perimeter. Again, the 3, and shot wildly rebounded by Branch. Clearview started out the season, as we mentioned, red hot, beating a Sterling team that defeated this very Haddonfield team. Clearview started out defeating a very good Highland team. Then they went to Sterling and beat them by 4.
That was a real good win.
Easily handled Pennsville and Camden Academy. A barn burner
at home versus West Deptford, and then handling Triton and Cumberland relatively easy, and that's when the wheels fell off against some of their Tri-County opponents, and most of them again coming on the road at Williamstown, at Delsea, at home versus Deptford, at Kingsway, at Highland, at Mainland, at Salem, and then defeating Gloucester.
2 games you look at there. I mean, Kingsway is a much improved team. The loss to Delsea and Highland. You look at that. You look at the injuries and you say, boy, what a product of an injury losing to teams like that. You match up these 2 teams and you think Clearview might have the advantage, but you take a couple of guys out of the lineup and it becomes suspect. You don't have that confidence. A team like Delsea was playing better with Ramin Thomas, transferred from Clayton. They've done a nice job. You can get some upsets at home, knock off teams like Clearview. Now they're fighting for the playoffs.
Well, as you mentioned before, Sean, they need one of these next 3 games. And no team necessarily a gimme, obviously, but Cumberland probably their best hope. Turnaround jump shot, nothing but glass, tipped up, rebound, and it's Branch. Clearview trailing by 5 with 1:50 left in this first quarter. Rob Christ along with Shawn Leary. Saturday basketball action. Interconference matchup, Colonial and Tri-County. Haddonfield's McFeeder's really the only returning starter from this Haddonfield team, but still an exceptional season from Paul Wiedemann and his staff. 10-3 mark. Wiedemann coaching this Haddonfield team for 9 seasons, every season with at least 20 wins. Again, the turnover. Here's an open 3. Rainbow rims in and out. Inside, Zaleski. Good. Zaleski with 9. And looking for 10 here. 14-7. Haddonfield has doubled up Clearview.
It just isn't a good matchup for Clearview, Rob, because you have shooters on the outside. You know you have to get to them. And that's going to open rebounding up for Haddonfield on the inside. And you're forcing Clearview to pick one or the other, and they just really haven't been able to do either one extremely well. They're getting out on the shooters. That's just leaving the middle and the lane wide open for all the putbacks.
And Branch launches the 3-point shot. Rims out. Clearview not really setting themselves up for any offensive rebounds either. Taking early shots. And McFeeder's cuts inside and lays in the easy basket. 17-7. Now inside of 30 seconds left in this first quarter.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. They need to maybe work the ball around like they're doing here, try to find the open man. They have forced a little bit, a couple of opportunities. That's a good look.
3-point shot is short. Rebound Zaleski. 5 seconds. They still have time if they push. And launched from the other side of half court. Not even close, but Haddonfield very pleased with their first quarter as we head to break. They lead by 10. Welcome back. Haddonfield High School. Will Knight has added a basket. And it's now a 19-7 lead for these Haddonfield Bulldogs. Knight's first hoop this afternoon.
Clearview trying to push and get something going on the break, not allowing Haddonfield to set up defensively.
And the second turnover of the game for Haddonfield. Potts drives inside, fouled, no call.
And off on Potts.
Looked like he had contact inside from Consul. Got Consul off his feet. And Wolbert and the Clearview Pioneers did not get the call. Again, a trap here. And quickly, Haddonfield breaks. Inside, knocked away. You see the quickness of Potts. Potts, jailbreak, other side, Gravenese. And this time, a foul.
Yeah, Potts has those quick hands, and you see the steal on Will Knight. Haddonfield looks like they're going to get it easy, too. Potts able to get the steal. You see Wilbur in his 14th season as the head coach of the Pioneers, grabbing East to the line. Grabbing East, a real nice football player during the fall, plays defensive end for Dan Pidcock's Pioneers.
Gravenese 3 for 3 from the line, now 3 for 4. Gravenese and Branch, the only players to have scored thus far for the Pioneers. 3-point attempt again, rims out, rebound inside, easy lay-in for Will Knight. Potts inside Gravenese, and he gets caught up in the rim. That's the way things have gone thus far for the Pioneers. Possession arrow points Clearview's way, and they will maintain possession. Clearview just shooting 20% from the floor, 2 for 10. That's not going to get it done against this Haddonfield team. 21-8 here early in the second quarter. Inside, and we're going to have a little push from Console. Few fouls called thus far. There's Paul Wiedemann. Look at that mark, 211 and 36, mark of 87 and 7 during the years of Brian Zuback, who of course has now gone on to bigger and better things at Duke University. 7'2" phenom.
It'd be better if he was playing. He's out of the lineup right now with an injury. I guess that had to be hard for him. He finally broke into the starting lineup for Duke on Sunday, gets injured, coming back to play at the Wachovia, gets injured, wasn't able to play in that game. You had to feel bad for the young man. I'm sure he was pretty pumped to come back and play in front of the home crowd. There was probably a lot of Haddonfield residents in attendance to go and see him.
Absolutely. Well, Clearview's resorted to a press, and it has given Haddonfield some fits at this point, although Clearview at this point 7 turns to Haddonfield's 3.
Yeah, Betterson comes into the lineup, and what you have is a lot of speed on the court for the Pioneers, and I think it's a good tactic used by the Clearview staff as well. They want to go small, try to create some type of break, because trying to play Haddonfield in this half-court offense with a limited roster is not going to work for him.
Wyatt Polk, the freshman, getting a basket. Polk had 13 last game. That coming against Sterling in their 56-49 loss.
I don't think you could tell by watching the game so far. Maybe some people can. But Nevin Potts is an explosive player, as you're going to find in South Jersey at the point guard spot. He handles the ball extremely well. He creates for his teammates, and they have to finish. You know, we saw Gravenese with a couple opportunities, and Sharon, you got to go hard to the basket, but lay it up with soft hands. And you know, sometimes some football guys, they just don't know how to do things very soft. You know, they just don't have that touch. One of the things they're doing is going hard to the basket, and you got to give credit to Sheridan Gravenese for doing that. He come back and play that way on the defensive end, use the body, and try to pull down some rebounds. You might be able to get back into this game. Remember, this is a team with some good shooters from the outside with Branch. Potts can get hot, and you can run that break, cause some disruption like they have in putting press together. You can get back into the game. Only down 15 right now, so still plenty of time.
Potts pull-up jump shot, gets the roll. That's his first basket of the afternoon. 23-10, again in the press. And Haddonfield looking to break it inside. And Will Knight with 6, all coming in the second quarter. And Haddonfield returns the favor by pressing Clearview. Open 3-point shot, good. Adrian Branch with 8. A pair of threes for Branch, and now it's looking like a Loyola Marymount game from the 80s. Luke Payton. 27-13. Here's Potts. Potts can break this press all by his lonesome. He does. Inside, taken away. Another turnover, and Potts looking to return the favor. Does not. And there's the freshman finding Will Knight.
Good
Stolen
anticipation
away.
by Branch.
Branch will lay it up and in, kissing it off the glass. 10 points for Branch, 27-13, and all of a sudden we're in a track meet.
27-15 down by 12 now, and this is what you want to do. Just keep on pressure and get back on defense. And Haddonfield, not accustomed, not the great athletes on the floor that they've had in recent years. The guys that can do that, they can light it up from the outside.
Will Knight with the three-pointer, 30-15. Again, it's Branch. Rainbow three, rebound, Haddonfield's Safos. Polk will penetrate baseline. He's fouled. He'll head to the free throw line.
I think that was Polk that drained that three in the corner. And this is a kid that comes in as a freshman. They really like him. Had 12 points in the fourth quarter recently. He's a guy that can do a lot of different things for this team as a freshman coming in and making an impact.
So you see Polk. And he hits. Haddonfield 3 for 3 early here from the free throw line.
This is certainly one of the better looking freshmen in the conference, able to come in and just bring a burst of scoring, not afraid at all, not intimidated to go inside or out.
31-15 with a little over 4 minutes remaining. You see Haddonfield shooting over 50% from the floor. And again, another turnover, courtesy of the Pioneers.
What Buck's got to do is come around and bring that back. And he's kind of counting on that pass to get over there, but he's got to use his dribbling skills to get back around and get it over to his teammate instead of picking up his dribble and trying to pass around. Once they double team, you're in trouble.
Again, the open three rims out. Rebound taken away by Polk. Polk will swing it. And again, another three. Rims out, rebound. And free. Gravenese is fouled. Gravenese released early on the first rebound. And quickly, it was Betterson who outletted Gravenese, who is 3 for 4 from the free throw line.
The shooter's touch from the line. He's got soft hands from the line. He's able to get a nice touch. When he gets around that basket, it's like concrete going up and down. But I like Gravenese. He's a terrific defensive end. He's just got to be able to finish some of them baskets.
And that's something that Coach Walbert said that he's been able to do more recently. Struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year, but has really picked up things inside over the last few games.
He's got a nice shooter's touch, though, for a big man.
All 5 of his points coming from the free throw line, and a foul here by Kyle Holcomb.
He brings that toughness. I mean, you see some of these kids that play football, and then you see them come to the basketball court, and they may not be the most gifted and fluid guys on the court, because the other guys, they're playing basketball year round, and they got that that fluid motion when they're playing the game. But these guys are bangers.
Easy lay-in. Somebody blew an assignment, and Luke Payton. He has 4. Some nice passing inside. Gravenese finds himself underneath the basket. Here comes Polk. Polk. No, it's Knight. Knocked away nicely by Gravenese. Here comes Potts. Feeds Branch. Branch deposits a deuce.
Potts can be running at full speed and put a bounce pass on your hands perfectly in that situation. That's just natural talent there.
This is a 2, and it's good.
Would have been wanted the 3, but it was clear that his foot was on the line.
Branch loses it on the floor. Foul call. Well, things seem to have gotten away from Clearview here relatively early.
Team just into the game for the Pioneers, number 12, Matt Waskowski.
Yeah, you look at this matchup 2 or 3 weeks ago, Rob, and you're thinking, wow, we got ourselves a good one coming up. The Pioneers, you see, with the 10 turnovers. The Dogs with 4. But, you know, this is one you circle on the schedule, say this one could be a real treat in late January, but just the Clearview, steal on Potts.
Well, that's an indication of just how quick Nevin Potts is. He wreaks havoc on the opposition, and that man, Coach Jim Olbert, really a fan of Nevin Potts. We mentioned before, Potts setting a school record last year with 131 steals during the season.
Of the Dogs, no surprise there. Is doubling up the output for Clearview.
Driving inside, denied, and Haddonfield still. Gravenese tries to stop McFeeters. He cannot. McFeeters with 4.
McFeeters wanted to go off glass there, but Gravenese got a piece of it, deflected it, but it was enough to get up and to drop. Now an 18-point lead for the Bulldogs here in this second quarter. Right, things are getting away from the Pioneers. When they're in their half-court game, though, Rob, I think you mentioned this earlier, they really need to slow it down, move the ball, work it, and find the open jump shooter. If they can penetrate the lane with Potts, it's even better, because you do have a couple of guys who can finish in Betterson and Gravenese when given the chance.
1:40 left. Clearview trying to chip away at that 18-point deficit. It's not going to happen here as Holcomb turns it over. Steinberg checks in. This Haddonfield team, of course, in Group 2. And Group 2 this year, no bargain. Of course, they've already lost to a pair of Group 2 schools in Collingswood and Sterling. Inside, Betterson, and he's fouled. Can't forget Pleasantville in Group 2, and this year Medford Tech has had quite a turnaround.
Yeah, you got a couple teams outside the Colonial Conference that can contend as well. You're right, Medford Tech, Pleasantville. Group 1, likewise, it's wide open. I mean, Salem looks terrific. The Pennsgrove early on was playing extremely well. You have Paulsboro. You never know what Woodbury will do there.
A minute remaining in this first half. Potts. And Clearview pull up arcing jump shot. Holcomb. Probably not the best choice there. Inside, and Zaleski's tied up. They're going to call the foul on Betterson. So Zaleski has been quiet in this second quarter. He had 10 in the first.
Betterson, his second, team 7. At the line of the Bulldogs, shooting 1-1, number 45, TJ Zaleski. Into the game for the Bulldogs, number 5, Chris Davis.
I don't know if you've been able to take a look at Salem, Rob, and what they've been doing, but that is one good basketball team.
Upset
Salem
last
County.
night. But you are right.
You beat them, that's more of a stunner. That is, the team's loaded. Was able to beat a Group 4 team in Washington Township. Even though Township's down, they beat them convincingly.
Actually, it was Overbrook who defeated Pennsgrove last night.
Stowski there with three-pointer, 15 now. The Pioneers would like to get it toward 2 of 10, and not maybe even cut into single digits.
Pull-up jump shot, too strong. Rebound Potts. Here's Potts on the break. Potts end-to-end lays it up and in. Nevin Potts, you see some of his speed and ball handling ability. 37-24 inside of 5 seconds. Open three, too strong, and that'll do it for the first half. So Clearview scratches and claws to draw within 13 as we head to break here from the Haddonfield High. Night. Welcome back to Haddonfield High School. Third quarter about to get underway. Haddonfield on top of Clearview, 37-24. Rob Christ along with my partner Shawn Leary. There you see the halftime stats, and Shawn, again, it truly tells the story.
Yeah, if I could sing them. You get the TV turned totally toward you. There you go. Yeah, I mean, look at it, 16-34 shooting. Thank you. 6, 3 and 5 from the free throw line. Threes are pretty close, but the rebounding and the turnovers, that really tells the story, Rob. You're right. 16-9, 11-4 there. And, Clearview not being able to handle the basketball. They tried to pressure it. Haddonfield came up with their own press and just totally out-rebounded Clearview. Too many easy looks inside.
Well, speaking of easy looks inside, Will Knight with the deuce. And Clearview, they're going to be hard-pressed to come back with that poor three-point shooting. They've tried to press Haddonfield. It didn't really tighten the lead at all. And Knight.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Clearview to get back into this game just because they're not going to be able to put enough defense and rebounding to be able to get on a sustained run. Haddonfield will be able to get some easy baskets just on the inside alone. There you see, again, too easy for Knight being able to deposit it and then get to the free throw line.
41-24, Haddonfield scoring the first 4 points of this second half, all coming from that young man, Will Knight. Playing here at Haddonfield as a freshman, transferred over to Downingtown West and is now back for his senior year.
This is a team with a lot of senior leadership on it. You got some freshmen, with Polk being instrumental already in one of the wins, coming in and now seeing some minutes in this game. And you got the Davis twins, a couple of freshmen, Kevin and Chris, who are pretty good athletes, are football players, basketball.
Scramble inside, it's Holcomb, too strong off the glass. Zaleski pulls down the rebound, and Campbell across the timeline. Open three, short, tipped up, Knight battles, it's Holcomb who's wrapped up, and just get a sense that right now the Pioneers are very frustrated.
Yeah, when you're just getting too much beaten down on the inside, you get frustrated, you're not being able to pull down rebounds, but you know what? Again, they're trying to do it with all of their arms. It needs to be the body, boxing out, being aggressive, showing some aggression down in the low post just by clearing some guys out.
Branch hits the three. Their first points of the second half. Branch with 15. 42-27. And Haddonfield returns the favor as Dave Campbell hits his second three-point field goal. He has 6.
Campbell with that left-handed shot, a good spot-up shooter. And he gets that open look. He's able to drain it. This is very good shooting team, and also getting a lot from the inside as well. See, Branch is a good-looking player, Rob. I mean, the senior, they're going to lose him and his scoring along with some of the other seniors, of Potts, Coates,
Holcomb. Rare turnover by the Bulldogs results in a deuce, 45-31.
Holcomb's one of the juniors that will be back for next season. And they got a couple of juniors here that sees some significant action, especially with the injuries.
Will Knight continues to pour it in. He had no points in the first quarter. Things have changed rapidly now for Will Knight. 19 points. And here come the Bulldogs. Once again, spots up the three and gets the shooter's roll. Well, nighttime is the right time for the Bulldogs. 51-31.
Now Clearview just has to work on doing the little things right and just trying to get some momentum as they play in the second half. Again, they have Williamstown coming up and Cumberland needing one victory to get into the playoffs. Coach still needs an MRI. I don't think that he'll be back.
Of course, Williamstown we had at the start of the season against Deptford. They met up again yesterday, and Williamstown slowed it down and beat Deptford for the second time, 57-45. Colin Whipple led all scorers with 15 points. And Deptford, who was the preseason favorite, looking up at Williamstown now in that Tri-County Conference.
You got to give Coach Hunt a tremendous amount of credit. And Whipple's the one guy that you see there that's probably the standout, but you had some other guys like Hampton, who's coming and done a real nice job for this team. You look at all the guys that kind of know their role on that team, and they just believe in the system. Williamstown is one of those teams you just don't want to face them into the playoffs because the Hunt's a terrific coach. They're going to work hard, and Whipple's the guy that really can lead a team because of his leadership on the floor and off the floor. And he's a guy that can lead a team and make them play a little bit better than maybe what they're capable of.
Inside, wild arcing shot. Once again, a foul committed here as Consul with an opportunity. In that opening game, Shawn, of course, we saw Whipple come down with an injury. It was his brother who really picked things up, but this was a game that in many ways was not a surprise last night because it seemed Williamstown gained a psychological edge over Deptford in that early season win.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising that they Deptford come down. Probably a little chip on their shoulder. You would have thought with Fox and company they would have been able to keep that game a little bit closer. They had to be very disappointed with the outcome.
Consul hits both. He has 4 points. Now, because of the loss, Deptford drops to third place in a tie with Delsey. The surprise of that division, Kingsway in second place.
R.J. Page has been fantastic so far. I mean, he's a guy that if he gets hot, he's got the left-handed shot. If he gets hot, well, he can rack up a tremendous amount of points and lead that team. I think also Delsey. I mean, take a look at Delsey and the struggles that they've had over the years. And for them to be in a tie for third place really says a lot of the program and how it's come. Ramin Thomas transferring from Clayton, a 1,000-point scorer, really gave that team a boost and it just upgraded the personnel on the roster. But yeah, it's a pretty good basketball team. And coming into the season again, when I said earlier about Clearview and Delsey, I want people to misunderstand that. Coming into the season, you thought Clearview would have been able to have pretty good fate against teams like Delsey and Highland in this division.
Open three. Roskowski with his second tray of the afternoon, 53-34.
Well, once you've been able to see what Delsey's done over the course of the season, they should be a favorite against Clearview. This is a pretty good basketball team. What they've done so far in the Tri-County Conference, pretty impressive. See, again, the boards controlled by the Bulldogs.
We mentioned before with this Clearview team, Shawn, with Burke being injured, it really changes the entire complexion. I mean, they have a lineup that has really been in transition throughout the year, but Burke really the key to this Clearview team. And Coates.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Coates, yeah. Now, Burke is a guy who's coming into the game getting some minutes as a junior. But you're right, Coates is really the guy who came at the beginning of the season, especially even coming off the bench when he did return. He did, come back in and re-injure that knee. And it's going to have an MRI. Nice. Again, Potts disrupts the play a little bit and forces Campbell into a turnover.
Can't help but be impressed by Nevin Potts.
Into the game of the Pioneers, number 5, Adrian Branch.
Pioneers with 13 turnovers, and they really needed to take care of the basketball because we knew going in with Haddonfield having the decided size advantage that the likelihood was that the Bulldogs would control the paint. Knocked away. Clearview just trying to make anything happen. Open look, Branch, and that rims out. Rebound inside on the floor. It's Knight.
But even when they have the opportunity with two guys have a chance for a rebound, Clearview
nicely taken away by Gravenese. Now here's Betterson, and he's on the floor. He has it stripped away from Zaleski, and Betterson, I think he got an elbow in the eye. Clearview 5 for 10 from three-point range. They've picked things up considerably from beyond the three-point stripe. Potts drives inside, foul called. And Potts goes down hard. Despite being 80%, Shawn, Potts is probably going to give you 100% a boast.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. This is a kid, I think he's just extremely talented. Again, he's only, he looks like he's about 5'6". They have him listed at 5'8". But he's a leader. Just done an outstanding job with the passing. You see the standings here. Looks like Williamstown, Kingsway's in the playoffs. Delsey with a pretty good shot. Deptford will get in. And then you have a couple teams right on the cusp of making it with Highland and Clearview. Pretty competitive division when you look at the Royal. You see Haddonfield at 8-2, 10-3. Collingswood, Haddonfield, Paulsboro all going to get in. Woodbury making it into the playoffs. And you have a chance where all 7 of these teams get into the playoffs. So all top teams inside that division. West Deptford there has a chance at 7-7 as well.
We'll see West Deptford very soon, taking on a very good Sterling team.
A.J. Greenwald is the real deal in Eagle Country. He's put up some pretty big numbers. You see Paul Wiedemann every season with 21 more wins, sitting at 10. Pretty good shot at making it again this year. This is a Haddonfield team, Rob, that they certainly didn't want to be the group that halted that streak and have come out and they lost some pretty talented players, but this is a senior group playing with a lot of pride. The big question will be, how does Haddonfield respond next year? They have a great deal of seniors that are going to be moving on.
Well, you mentioned before they have the freshman in Polk along with the 2 Davis brothers. So, as the adage goes, they don't rebuild.
Still going to see how they react to varsity basketball. And they have the talent, and it's there, but you're not really sure what you're going to get out of that group. You got Campbell, Zappos comes off the bench, McFeeder's a senior, Knight a senior, Payton comes off the bench as a senior, Consol's a senior, Zaleski's a senior. Everyone that's been in this game, I think, except for Polk, basically is a senior, is moving on. You're right. This is a program that retools. It doesn't rebuild. It'll be interesting to see how much the Davis duo, 2 guards, 5'11", Kevin and Chris. You know what you're going to get from Polk. He looks like he's going to be a dynamite sophomore.
54-35, 19-point edge. Just over a minute left. Clearview continues to swing the ball on the perimeter, and now Potts will look to create inside of 50 seconds left. Branch for three. He is a smooth shooter. Jim Wolbert talked about his shooting ability, and he has been on display all afternoon. 20 points now for Branch. Driving left-hander, too strong. Zaleski in and out of his hands. He'll recapture it inside of 25. Launching a three. Too strong. Rebound Knight. And right now the 50-50 balls are going Haddonfield's way. Zaleski turnaround. Nothing but glass, and Potts elevates and comes down with it. Inside of 10 seconds. Potts swings. Open three. Short. Rebound knocked away. And it's going to be Clearview basketball with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, they called it for Haddonfield.
Oh, okay. Breakout pass to Knight. Knight, Zaleski. Glass, no good. And that'll do it for the third quarter. We head to break. Haddonfield on top of Clearview, 54-38. Lays it in, 56-38 now, and Gravenese inside has it knocked away. It's been a frustrating afternoon if you are a Pioneers fan. Knocked away, Potts, you see the quickness, and he picks the pocket of Campbell.
Leary's going to try to bring a press here, try to create some havoc in the backcourt, maybe get an easy steal.
Able to break Potts and the press. Foul committed by Nevin Potts. And Knight.
Clearview foul number 3, Nevin Potts, his second, team fifth.
The recipient of the foul, Clearview with 5 team fouls now. Haddonfield with just 1.
Speaking of Hunt, we just saw him leave the gym, probably over here scouting Pioneers for Tuesday's game.
Greg Console. His first field goal since the first quarter.
You just have to assume, I mean, the Pioneers are going to be in for a tough one against Williamstown as well. They're going to be at 500 after this game if they don't score 18 unanswered points here in the fourth quarter.
Gravenese penetrates inside and he's fouled.
But Williamstown, I mean, they come into the game on Tuesday against Clearview with a tremendous amount of motivation, a tremendous amount of confidence. This is a pretty excited team. The south end of Gloucester County, you see a nice crowd in attendance on Saturday afternoon. And for Clearview, just the confidence could not be there for this team. Reeling on the road. And facing, let's face it, Clearview's played some pretty good teams. We can't just say, oh, but they lost 8 or 9. And just look at it that way. I mean, they lost to Mainland and what could be a loss here to Haddonfield and Salem. That's out of the conference. And then you sprinkle in the teams like Deptford and the way Kingsway and Delsey has played so far in the season.
Well, as you mentioned, it's going to be tough to defeat that Williamstown team, and then it comes down to a game versus Cumberland, who's had a tough year, but have played a lot of tight games. Three-point shot is short, tipped up, rebound, it's Branch. Branch drives inside, he's fouled by Console.
Haddonfield foul number 25, Luke Payton, his third, team third. At the line with 2 shots, Adrian Branch.
We talked about Potts, just Branch. He is a very gifted shooter. He's a nice stroke. His foul through is very textbook. He has a nice stroke. He uses his legs extremely well.
We were talking about Group 2 before. I did not mention Cinnaminson, and they have had quite a season. 13-1 mark. This week defeating Bordentown and Delray. Of course, Holy Spirit still undefeated in South Jersey with a record of 15-0. Defeating a Pleasantville team that is very, very good by 8 points. 63-55. TJ Vallejo had 50 points the other night for the Cinnamons and Pirates. Inside, rims out. And again, Haddonfield controlling the paint. Gravenese pulls it away. 15-point edge for the Bulldogs. Saw Camden Catholic last week. They continue to play well. Speaking of continuing to play well, Adrian Branch is doing a great job for these Pioneers as he has 25 of the 46 points for the Pioneers. Camden Catholic ranked 10th by the Courier Post, defeating Bishop Eustace and Camden County Tech.
Please foul number 14, Kyle Holcomb, his fourth. Team 7.
Hamilton having a nice year. They're ranked 11th in that poll at 11-3. And Hamilton, you used to saying that is mostly excited in the fall with the football team, but winter season having a nice year with the boys basketball program, taking out Mainland this weekend and Atlantic City. 2 good wins for that program.
And don't forget, we mentioned Medford Tech. They're now 12-3 on the season. They beat a pretty good Bordentown team handedly. And they are still in the Patriot Division race in Burlington County. So again, another Group 2 foe for Haddonfield as the season progresses. Branch from downtown, rims out, rebounds Zaleski. And here's Knight and the Dogs. Now the 13-point edge.
Just for confidence for the Pioneers, I think if they're able to get this thing to single digits, play well here in the fourth quarter, that might help them on Tuesday. Just be able to get a couple nice offensive sets.
9 points for Console. Holcomb looks to penetrate, stopped by Zaleski. And a blocking foul called on TJ Zaleski.
And number 45, TJ Zaleski, his second, team 4.
Currently in South Jersey Group 2, Cinnaminson would be the first seed, Collingswood the second seed, Medford Tech third, and Haddonfield would be fourth. Bordentown is in South Jersey theoretically, but in the playoffs they would play out of Central Jersey. Potts, no good, rebound Haddonfield. And here's Polk. Dishes outside, and Haddonfield looking for the good shot. Knight shoots, and that'll be a foul.
I think they're going to get Holcomb coming across and hitting Knight as he was shooting. Great.
Right now, Hamilton the top seed in Group 3, Camden second, and Shawnee, Deptford, Pemberton, Kingsway, and a pretty good Timber Creek team, not to mention Delsey, Central Regional, Highland, and Clearview knocking on the door. West Deptford still at 500 along with Ocean City, and Seneca, who's had some big wins along the way.
Yeah, it's going to be 5 on Holcomb, and he's going to sit. He's going to be fouled out of the game. Sheridan's going to come in for him. Holcomb had kind of like a little smirk on his face when Zaleski got called for the blocking foul. He thought maybe even he got away with one and should have been on the bench a little earlier. That foul on Knight puts him on the bench.
Another turnover, and here comes Haddonfield inside looking for Pope. They'll kick it back, and again now Console's foul. relatively crisply played games in terms of fouls up until this point, and things have slowed considerably.
The Bulldogs shooting 2, Greg Console.
Council's an interesting kid, Rob, because he plays the 4 position, but he's not your typical 4-man. I mean, he can pass the ball well. He can bring the ball up the court. We already know he can rebound well and move to the basket. But he can do a lot of the things that the point guard can do from that 4-man spot, and really gives Coach Wiedemann a lot of alternatives with him in the lineup.
Inside, good. Well, Branch just continues to pour it in. Haddonfield has controlled this game, but they've had no answer for Branch. And again, an easy lay-in for Console. Poke, quick outlet, Console inside, too strong. Knight off glass, no good, rebound. And again, taken away, Knight. And has it blocked, but a foul call. This will be on Risky.
Pioneers down number 34, Walt Risky, his first. At the line with 2 shots for Haddonfield, Billy Knight.
It was very interesting in that school. You talked about Williamstown. You mentioned earlier, Overbrook beating Pensgrove in that Diamond Division of the Tri-County Conference. Pensgrove came out smoking hot like the Pioneers did. It cooled off a little bit. Overbrook knocking off the Red Devils, something I'm sure Coach Kent Carr did not expect. That is a real good team. We talked about them a couple times earlier in the season with Dominic Roy at the point guard. That's another good point guard. You look at Potts here and Roy, and they might be 2 of the better overall basketball players in the Tri-County Conference.
Evan Potts quarterbacking this offense for the Pioneers. They trail by 20, 68-48 here at Haddonfield High School. Great gym here at Haddonfield. Tiered bleachers. Fans literally right on top of the action.
Kind of a quiet crowd today. Well, it's a Saturday afternoon.
The game, got away a little bit early, so
went to the mall. Hanging out.
Branch. And the foul called. This will be against Sanfus. This is a gym that, in many ways, can mirror the intensity of that Gloucester Catholic gym.
They don't have the bleacher creatures here.
I guess they have the dog pound.
The dog pound, yeah.
Potts deals to Branch, back to Potts. Potts, 4-3, short. Rebound, Betterson. Foul called. And it looks like it's going to go against Zaleski.
They had the Kramer Crazies, remember them? They were the Clayton kids. We weren't at that game, but they had the Kramer Crazies all dressed up. Bleacher creatures. I love when kids get all dressed up and have a good time inside the gym. Gotta have a good, clean fun, getting a little noisy. Bring some spirit to the gym.
Absolutely. Just adds to the atmosphere. And foul called here. Scooping lay-in. Gravenese, his first field goal of the afternoon. 8 points for Gravenese.
CG's telling me to shut my mouth about his soft hands or his concrete hands. Comes up with a nice soft scoop. Gets it to go down.
Too strong. All knocked up. It's Zaleski. Haddonfield starting to clear their bench. Inside left-hander off of glass and good for Greg Console. He's had himself quite a second half. Only 2 of his points coming in the first half. And he now has 10 in the fourth quarter.
At the line for Haddonfield, shooting one, number 33, Greg Console.
One shot.
15 points on the afternoon for Console. 4 for 5 from the free throw line. And Gravenese pulls it down. Inside of 2 minutes. Potts looks to penetrate, has it knocked away, and a long three-pointer is good. Roskowski with 3 trays this afternoon. 70 to 53.
Replacing TJ Zaleski is number 42, Mike Steinberger.
Mike Steinberger checking in for Haddonfield. TJ Zaleski, who had a busy first quarter. 10 points in all in that first quarter and has been silent since.
There's some confusion right now whose ball it is. You can see that first quarter, things kind of got out of hand for the Pioneers. Other than that, I mean, they have done so bad. Look at 2017, 17, 17-14, 16-15. Here in the fourth quarter, you can say Haddonfield maybe went into a little more conservative type of play.
And Branch just continues to pour it in.
You can't leave Branch alone. He'll stick.
Very nice. Another turnover, 70-56, as we're just over a minute left here. Potts, arcing shot, no good. Gravenese inside, fouled and good.
That's good by Chad Gravenese.
So the Pioneers continue to knock on the door,
42, Mike Steinberger, his second.
try to make this a basketball game.
Shooting one, Chad Gravenese.
Different personnel in the game right now for Haddonfield, but I just like the way the Pioneers are playing more aggressive. They're playing well underneath the basket. They're shooting well. They're not giving up. They're trying to get some motivation, some type of consistency as they go into next week's very important schedule. Try and make it into the playoffs. I mean, once you get into the playoffs, Rob, anything can happen. You have a couple of guys who are shooting the ball well. Maybe some of these guys could come back off the injury list for the Pioneers. And you just want to get in. And it's also a treat for the seniors who are in there. You got a lot of seniors on this team. I think it's important for the Pioneers to make the playoffs, especially for all these guys that really had a lot of anticipation and expectation for the season coming in. A very heavily senior group with nothing but high excitement at Clearview after a 7-0 start. It's almost rewarding for that group to get into the playoffs, give them a chance, get them excited about it, get the school excited about it.
Adrian Branch is fouled out of the basketball game. 30 points on the afternoon for Branch.
Wow, Clearview faithful giving him a hand. 30 of the 58 points that Clearview threw up tonight, scored by Adrian Branch. He has nothing to hang his head about. And I don't think any of the Pioneers did. I think they're just outmanned in the game of the two conferences.
11 points now for Console in this fourth quarter.
He's the last player in uniform.
In and out. Long three-point shot. Inside Gravenese, he's fouled.
See Branch. Outstanding job by him tonight. Fouled out 30 points.
Well, Coach Wiedemann not pleased with Steinberger whatsoever. Literally screaming, why? Why would you foul in that instance? Stopping the clock. And, of course, right now, the clock is the Bulldogs' ally. 71-60. And Gravenese will head to the free throw line once again.
near steal by Gravenese.
Here's Polk driving inside, and a foul call. 71-61. Down to 10 points. It's been some time where it was just a 10-point lead. Polk again at the free throw line.
Wyatt Polk takes the first foul shot. 1 remaining.
4 points now for the freshman.
He comes up.
Second lead for Haddonfield, replacing Wyatt Polk.
Under his foot.
(73-61).
He's going to take that sneaker off and get a look at it in the final seconds. But he's a key contributor lately, coming off the bench, that freshman.
Potts pull-up jump shot, no good. Rebound, Gravenese. He's been a bull inside. He'll kick it out. Open three, in and out. Rebound, Dogs. Gravenese has it knocked away. And the Bulldogs will look to break that press. Knocked up, and that'll do it here from Haddonfield. Well, the Bulldogs of Haddonfield got out early and never looked back. Stick around, we'll have post-game interviews and a wrap. Haddonfield over Clearview, 73-61.
Welcome back to Haddonfield High School. Haddonfield victorious over Clearview. Here, Rob Christ with winning head coach Paul Wiedemann. And coach, you know, you come out in that first quarter and coming off of a loss, you had to like the energy of your basketball team.
Yeah, we had a tough loss the other night. We scored 6 points in the first half, not a quarter, first half against Sterling. So I told my the seniors, we got 8 of them, I said, you got to have some pride. And the first thing we put on the blackboard was fast start. So we got after them early. If we missed, we got offensive rebounds, putbacks. So I was proud of our effort in the first quarter, and I think that helped us. The rest, that set the tone for the whole game.
You know, in watching your basketball team for the first time this season, I mean, it seems like you have some balance there, and that has to be something you feel good about heading towards the playoffs.
We have 5 guys that average between 8 and 15 points a game, so you really can't key on anybody. Tonight, Consul really stepped up for us. He had a nice game, floor game, and he also had some nice drives to the basket. Then we started posting him up a little bit because we saw we had a height advantage on him. So yeah, every game, just can't rely on 1 or 2 guys for us. We do move the ball pretty well. We share the ball, which helps. And like you said before, you can't key up. We can post up a little bit, and we can shoot the 3.
You know, the game got away from Clearview relatively early. You know, as a coach, how do you continue to allow your players to play disciplined basketball and maintain their focus?
Well, because we've had two games recently where we had a 25-point lead going into almost the fourth quarter, and we almost lost the game. Another game, we're up 15 in the fourth quarter, and we almost lost the game. So we have a long memory of telling these guys, listen, we got to keep it up. There's no way we have a letdown. We're not talented enough to just say, we'll walk on the court and we'll beat you up. We got to earn it for the full 32 minutes.
You've developed a tremendous tradition here at Haddonfield High School. How much of an advantage is that heading into the playoffs?
Well, again, experience does count, and the guys, maybe they didn't play as much last year, they're seniors that are starting this year, but they've seen what it's like, the intensity, the preparation that goes into it. I think teams, it still says Haddonfield across our chest, and I think teams will say, you know what, doesn't matter who these guys are, they'll be battle tested and they'll be well prepared, and you got to be careful of them in the playoffs.
Well, again, Coach, a fine win over a scrappy Clearview team. We head over to Shawn Leary, who has a couple players of the game.
Thank you.
He'll be joined by a second by Will Knight, but first Greg Council, who had a terrific game. He playing that 4 position. You're one of the guys that are probably unique at that position where you can do a lot of the little things. You can pass well, you can bring the ball up the court. Is that something you take a lot of pride in because you're not just one of the big guys that can grab a couple of rebounds?
Yeah, I try not to be like one-dimensional, so I got to bring the ball up. Sometimes I got to play down low.
This is a pretty good athletic team in Clearview. Nevin Potts, one of the top point guards, probably in the Tri-County Conference. But coming in, you guys had a big size advantage. Was that something coming into the game you talked about and trying to control the boards and the paint?
Yeah, we were going to try and ISO on their smaller guards, So I played the post a couple times, tried to take them down low, and it worked out pretty well.
Well, congratulations to you. Best of luck for the rest of the season and into the playoffs. And Will, this is a game where Clearview coming in, they need it for the playoffs. They had to come out hungry, a little undermanned. Did you guys actually know that they had a couple injuries, or is Coach trying to keep that from you?
No, Coach actually told us. He was like, they might have a few injuries, but we had to come out like the players there were going to play. So we really just tried to come out with high intensity and finish out the game strong.
How do you keep that out of your head? Because that's a point where you can maybe let down if a couple of guys are thinking, well, they have a couple of guys, some of the best players, not playing in the game. How do you not let down? And do you talk as a leader of the team?
Exactly. You just got to talk. You got to be very vocal. You got to keep intensity high, very, very high, and just tell your teammates. Just tell your teammates, like this is a game that we're playing for. It might not be a conference game, but it's still a game overall. And we're Haddonfield, and we just want to keep the tradition going.
And you come from Downingtown, so this is a spot where you're going back and forth. What did you want to come back to Haddonfield for? It's obviously a terrific basketball tradition, and you just said, listen, I need to get back to Haddonfield for this reason.
Well, you know what? I left Haddonfield junior year, and I really regret doing it, but I love my coach, Mr. Wiederman. Me and him have a very long relationship, and I think it's going to keep growing.
Well, congratulations to you. Best of luck. Terrific game from you. And this is a team, Haddonfield, Rob, that obviously – their season's not going to end with a regular season schedule going on. This is a team that's going to get into the playoffs, obviously, and Haddonfield always a team that will be reckoned with. One of the things you see from this group, I think it's a senior team. Although they might not have the experience of some kids who played very early on, they did spot some minutes when they had the Zubek years. But this is a team with experience of just knowing how to play good fundamental basketball and winning basketball. So when you get into that playoff atmosphere and the tension gets a little bit higher and tighter, and all of a sudden the excitement level goes up a bunch, this is a team who has that experience and knows how to play under those conditions.
Absolutely. This is a team that's always well coached, well disciplined. We've seen today from their free throw shooting that this is a team that's going to hang around in tight games. A team that's battle tested through the years. They've been there time and time again at the highest levels, playing in the Tournament of Champions, and despite the fact that perhaps this year not the same level of talent, if you are a Group 2 team, you cannot discount this Haddonfield Bulldogs squad. Conversely, for the Clearview Pioneers, this is a team that now at 500 really needs to come up with a big win, be it versus Williamstown or Cumberland.
Yeah, and I wouldn't take this team lightly if I'm Williamstown either, because they have Branch Seed and he could shoot lights out. Potts is a guy who can take over a game. He plays defensively, and he's maybe a couple extra days, gets healthy, and he's a guy that can take over a game defensively and create for his teammates. And you get a couple guys hot and grabbing East to bang underneath the boards. Clearview's not a team you want to take lightly if you're Williamstown, and if you're Cumberland, conversely, you don't want to look at the record if you're the Pioneers next Friday night and say, well, we got to win there, because Cumberland is a pretty good team with a very bad record. And it's one of the losses that you don't want to look ahead of the schedule and say, we beat them earlier, we can beat this team, we beat them the last couple of years. Don't overlook them.
Well, again, Haddonfield victorious here in their home gym, a game that Haddonfield took early and just kind of glided the rest of the way. And we'll watch the Bulldogs as they head towards the playoffs. Again, Clearview in need of one victory in order to get there this week against a very good Williamstown team that leads the Tri-County Conference. And, of course, a Cumberland team, as you mentioned, Shawn, that has stumbled throughout the season. Well, for my partner, Shawn Leary, my director, Stan Ritter, our stat man, Mike Shute, and all of the crew, I'm Rob Chris. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.